Thanks for being here. I'm super excited to get started with all of you and welcome you to the Masterclass. So, all you need is your bright, beautiful selves and your participation, and we're going to make a really impactful hour for all of those that are present here live, as well as those that are tuning into the recording, because I know there's quite a few of you. So, big welcome. I'm just going to double record to my computer in case our little recorder just does what he does. Okay, fabulous. I would love for you to welcome yourselves in the chat. So say your name and where you are tuning in from in the world, because I'm sure we've got some fantastic places that we're tuning in from far and wide. So just go ahead and please type that into the chat for me. I want to hear your names and where you're tuning in from live. And then we're going to get into all this amazing content for us. Where are we coming from? Yes. Hi, Kat. Hi, Sabrina from Australia. Oh my gosh, so cool. Amazing. I'm in Canada, by the way. That's where I am. I'm in Vancouver. So I just wanted to say hi. Okay, amazing. Currently in San Diego, but from Germany. Amazing. Hello. Welcome. Okay, fabulous. Keep it coming. And I'm going to dive right in because we've got lots of amazing stuff to cover. You already know who I am. Most of you, or if not all of you, I'm Julia, and I'm so excited to lead you through this. So today we're going to be covering how to fundamentally end the binge restrict cycle for good without willpower. And this is a proven method for women high achievers who have tried everything to finally reclaim peace, confidence, food, and freedom. So this is a hands-on workshop today. So we're going to be doing a lot of stuff out loud together, which is going to be super fun. So let's get started here. I want you to hear first and foremost that you are not broken. Okay. I see you. I know how much you've been struggling with this. I know you've been trying to willpower your way out of it. And I know because I've been through this as well. And I know that nothing is working for you because you're here. And the reason why nothing has worked so far is because no one has supported you to actually address the root of these issues. So today, you're going to learn why willpower is the wrong tool. You're also going to learn a 3-step proven method that will support you to finally end this cycle for good. So what we're going to cover today is why willpower is failing you, the real root cause keeping you stuck, and the run method, which is your key to freedom. So I want you to imagine for a moment, what if food was just food? So imagine if your mind was clear, we had no more food noise, no more mental calculations, calorie counting, macro counting, none of that. You actually felt confident in yourself, in your body. You felt confident at events or going out for dinner. You had a deep sense of peace and ease in your body and in your relationship with food. Imagine what that freedom would allow you to be doing in your life. That is the transformation that is absolutely possible for you with the right method and the right support. And we're going to make that happen today. I want to just name that you're in the right place. If you feel like you are someone who is super driven, a high achiever, you've tried it all, but you still feel trapped. You're the person everyone counts on in your life, but in private, you feel stuck in shame and secrecy about this. You are successful on the outside, but inside you are exhausted by these battles that you fight with your body and food. You have tried everything, diets, therapy, eating intuitively, the books, the podcasts, and you're still engaged in the cycle of binge eating and or restriction as well. And you're definitely in the right place if what you want is freedom and peace without feeling like you're going to lose control. You are in the wrong place if you are not ready to engage and participate in getting your own results, because nobody can do this for you. 2, you're looking for a magic pill or quick fix. We don't do that here. We're into long-term sustainable results and freedom. You want someone else to fix you, or you're looking for another diet and exercise plan. So if that's what you think is happening today, we want to clear that up right away. And I love and accept you if you have to leave, if that's what you thought this was. So after we've cleared that up, we're in a good place to move forward. Okay, so I want to talk you through the trap that nobody fundamentally has taught you, which is what keeps us trapped in this cycle. So number 1, we start with T, which is being trained for perfectionism and control. So that looks like having really obsessive food rules, micromanaging everything in our lives, having to feel in control of everything in our lives, having feelings like the way I look is never good enough, I don't work hard enough. It's basically an overarching story that I'm not enough, okay? 2, we have running on stress. So that leads to us living in constant overdrive, always feeling on. Our nervous system is in complete chaos, and our emotions are not something we have time for. We just keep going. It's sort of like that Finding Nemo Dory, which is just like, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. That's how we feel. It's like, just keep going. We don't have time to slow down. Then that leads to automatic numbing. So we then find ourselves overeating or binge eating and then feeling out of control around food. We turn to food to numb stress, pressure, and deprivation. And of course, then that leads to the punishment loop, which involves I feel ashamed, I'm exhausted, I am secretly suffering because I'm too embarrassed to tell people, I have a lot of critical self-talk, and I vow again tomorrow to start again. So I want you to just name in the chat, yes, if you feel like you're identifying with any of those phases of the trap. Just go ahead and put a big old yes in the chat if that's feeling like it resonates with you. Thanks for sharing, Sabrina. I'm so glad because we're going to debunk all this today. Thank you for sharing, Melissa. Awesome. Yes, all of them. Great. Okay. So I lived in the trap until I turned 29. I was trained for perfectionism. So I want to know if you resonate with any of this as well as we go through it. I grew up in a household where my family had very high expectations. There was trauma, alcoholism, and a family that was not available emotionally. I was an athlete from a very young age, competitive dance, competitive sports. I had to be on the honor roll. And there was just this constant pressure to be perfect and to achieve. And that's how I received love from my parents, school teachers, friends. I had this storyline that if I had the perfect grades, if I had the perfect body, I'll finally feel worthy. Okay. Anybody else here have that storyline? I want you to share in the chat if you do as well, or have struggled with that. So no surprise, this perfectionism and pressure led me into developing restriction with food, anorexia, obsessive criticism about my body, never feeling good enough, and feeling like I'd never achieved enough. No straight A's were enough. Nothing I did was enough. And I had this constant underlying belief system that said, I just need to work harder. Okay, so that's the first part. And I'm so glad that you're sharing, you're relating to this too. So that second middle half of our trap, I was running on stress. And of course, I was automatically numbing. I had no awareness of this at the time. So that's why I'm happy to share this with all of you now. I had years of operating in overdrive, constantly going, always had to be perfect. I obsessively exercised 7 days a week. I even became a fitness instructor because I was like, wonderful. I can just work out every day, all day long. And I refused to slow down. Slowing down meant I was lazy. And I learned that directly through my family upbringing. This isn't to blame them. It's just to name where this conditioning comes from on top of all the other societal conditioning. So no surprise, I had no idea how to emotionally regulate. I had extreme anxiety, which I didn't even understand was anxiety. I had low self-worth. I was under eating, running on fumes, and I just drank caffeine like crazy. I would have like a venti Starbucks coffee in the morning on top of like 2 to 3 Nespresso coffees. It was insane. And I had a completely unhealthy relationship with men. Lots of stuff there that we don't need to get into. But these sorts of issues tend to impact every single area of our life, like a spider web. So my body, with all of this stress and all of this pressure, started automatically numbing through binge eating, overeating, and also through exercise. So I felt I had zero control no matter how hard I tried. And this was extremely difficult for someone who was very driven, very successful on the outside, a perfectionist. I felt like I could get everything right in my life except this relationship that I had with food and my body. So I felt like I have no control and I refused to slow down. Anybody relating to that piece as well? Like you just feel, like you just can't figure this out and you're very smart and determined, but this is kind of like the one area of your life you haven't unlocked. That's a very common feeling. So the end of the story, well, the crescendo of the story here is that this led to this extreme level of punishment for myself. So I would binge uncontrollably, I would feel consumed with shame, and then I would exercise and restrict to make up for it. And I was isolating from everyone in my life because I felt like such a failure. And I was stuck in this cycle until age 29, where my body just decided on my behalf, we're done. So I developed thyroid issues, PCOS, leaky gut, insomnia, adrenal fatigue, hypothyroidism, gained 20 pounds, and was extremely depressed. And no matter what I did, no matter what person I worked with, whether it was a hormone specialist, a nutritionist, a personal trainer, a doctor, no one could seem to figure out how to fix this, how to support me to fix this. And I had also been in 15 years of therapy, which I felt was not working. So I was feeling completely hopeless. And I had this storyline, I'm broken, nothing will ever work for me. So how many of you in this room today, and even those watching, you can share in the comments, have this same belief that nothing will ever work for me because I've tried everything? Go ahead and put yes in the chat if that's resonating with you. Nothing will ever work for me because I've tried everything. Yes, I feel like I've tried it all. Of course, because you're such a high achiever. Of course you would try it all. You're very determined. Okay, good. Definitely been there. Yes. And trying to change that thought loop actively. Good. Excellent. So I was you until I rebelled, and my lowest moment led me to a breakthrough I never expected. I stopped doing things the old way. I stopped relying on diets, willpower, and exercise. I started healing the root issue, and I started fixing this from the inside out. So that's what we're going to go through together. The results of that were I got a life of my wildest dreams I didn't think I would achieve. I am leaner, stronger, and more energized than I ever was when I was dieting and over-exercising. I reversed my thyroid issues, my gut issues, the majority of my PCOS, my sleep, digestion, skin have healed. My binge eating is gone, 9 years free of that. I don't count calories, and my body still changed. I married the love of my life. I travel the world. My finance blossomed. I quit my corporate job and built a thriving business of 9 years. And I've never been happier and more at peace. And here's the kicker. I know a lot of you think I can't have the body that I want without dieting, restriction, and obsessive exercise, because that is our conditioned crap that we get taught. And that is not true. This photo on the left is me exercising 7 days a week, restricting, binge eating, hating myself, and calorie counting. And the photo on the right is me exercising 4 days a week, no food rules, no restriction, just peace, and doing things the brazen way. So you can hack the system. It's not that hard. They just don't want you to know that this is possible for you. So let's talk about how we're going to make this happen all together. The old way of doing things is deciding to be stuck in this trap that we talked about. It's getting sucked into diets and restriction, binge eating and overeating, band-aid fixes, tracking, control, more willpower, more self-criticism, never being happy with your body, being imprisoned by food noise, being exhausted, burning out, and likely you're probably already experiencing these symptoms in your physical body, like I've discussed around hormone imbalances, etc. The brazen way of doing things, which is quite a rebellious way, is following a proven method, having a root cause approach, having real tangible tools to get you out of this, focusing on healing the inside out through your nervous system, achieving food freedom, peace with your body, freedom from binge eating and coping with food, having confidence and compassion for yourself, a strong sense of self-worth, feeling energized, and being able to achieve all the goals that you set out for yourself in your life. So the answer isn't trying harder, it's just healing smarter. Does that make sense? So I want to give you some tangible examples of my beautiful clients that I've worked with. This is Erica. So on the left, that's her in her life doing things the old way. Photo on the right is her doing things the brazen way. And what she describes is, you know, when I started working with her, she had hated her body since childhood. She had such low self-esteem and critical thoughts. Food controlled her. She would binge and purge and feel like she tried everything and that she would never escape this prison. And in the past 6 months since working together, she stopped binge eating, restrictive dieting, lost 15 pounds without trying, quit her job, moved across the country, and found love in her life. So when you actually fix the real root problem, not only do you change your relationship with your body and food, but every aspect of your life benefits from this. This is a similar story with Lenore. So Lenore battled restriction, yo-yo dieting, body image issues as well since childhood, and was also not only using food, but also alcohol to cope with all of this stress. And her relationship with exercise, food, all of it was guilt-driven, and she said she used it as punishment. And in her joining this program, she said it was one of the most profound experiences she's ever had. It's completely changed her life. She broke the binge and purge cycle. She loves her body now. She treats it with respect and nourishment. And she's actually changed her career path completely. She's now in school to become a clinical nutritionist, where she's going to help families and those who struggle with their nutrition to have a healthy relationship with food. And this is someone who also had no idea how to cook for herself, and food was like a huge struggle. So this is very, very exciting how much life can change. Okay, so let's talk about how we're going to do things the brazen way, the very rebellious way to get your power and your life back. The three biggest mistakes keeping you stuck are: number one, you're relying on willpower and logic. So insight and awareness is not the same as change, my friends. Two, you're relying on surface level fixes, diets, talk therapy, exercise, those treat symptoms. And three, you are white knuckling this alone. You can't see your own blind spots, and nobody heals in isolation. And that's a common mistake with high achievers, because we think, I should be able to figure this out. This is my mess. I must clean it up. And we don't really get anywhere far. So let's go through them one by one using the RUN method, which is your 3 steps to lasting food and body freedom. And then we're going to practically put this into practice together. So first, we're going to learn how to regulate your nervous system. 2, we're going to talk about unlearning conditioning that's controlling you. And 3, we're going to talk about nurturing and regulating your emotions. Okay, this is how you get to run towards freedom instead of away from yourself. And this is a proven method that's actionable for every single woman that's going through this. So problem number 1 is the fire alarm is on. Okay, so you've been focusing on a lot of surface level solutions, but the core problem is your internal fire alarm is on. So your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, and we call that dysregulation. When that happens, your body looks for immediate comfort and safety through things like binge eating and self-sabotaging behaviors. This could also look like in your life, consuming more alcohol than you would like to, feeling like you're out of control with your spending. It's very common for those that struggle with binge and emotional eating to also struggle with an impulse with many other parts of their life. Willpower does not work here. So that's why we're not seeing any progress. These behaviors that are happening, like soothing with food, overeating, binge eating, they're not your fault. They're automatic self-soothing responses. And I need you to hear this really loud and clear. You have no control over changing behavior in a body that doesn't feel safe. So when your nervous system is experiencing this dysregulation and being stuck in survival mode, it doesn't matter how smart you are, how dedicated you are, how driven you are, how many books you read, how many times you sit down and put a timer on and say, I won't binge for the next 5 minutes. Willpower is not going to get you out of this, because you fundamentally can't access that part of your brain that is responsible for behaviors when you're stuck in a mess of survival stress. Is that making sense so far? That might be an unlock for a lot of you. Here are some signs of what a dysregulated nervous system looks like, because I'm sure some of you are like, I don't even know what that means. So when your nervous system has the fire alarm stuck on, it's not just about food, it shows up everywhere. So common things we experience are binge and emotional eating, metabolic issues and insulin resistance, anxiety and mood swings, weight that won't come off no matter how hard we exercise or how much we stick to a clean, nutritious diet, body image issues, hormones being out of balance, so cortisol issues, PCOS, irregular cycles, hypothyroidism, loss of period. Of course, there's a lot more things within even just that hormone bucket, fertility as well. Gut health and inflammation, so leaky gut, SIBO, lots of things like that. Fatigue and brain fog, food noise 24/7, constant inner critic. So how many of these things right here do you personally feel like you check the box for? Let's be really honest. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 things. How many do you see yourself in on this chart? Type it in the chat. I can tell you honestly that I ticked the box for all 10 when I was really struggling with all these issues. Okay, all of the above, 8, 10. 10 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Okay. Oh, yes. Absolutely. Okay, 8 out of 10. And you've probably tried the route of going, okay, I'll just fix my leaky gut. I'll spend $1,000 on hormone supplements. I'll do all these additional tests that a fancy hormone specialist will lead me through, a naturopath. And then you finally realize, oh my gosh, I still have all the rest of the issues, because you can't symptom chase to fix them all. That's a very expensive way of doing things, and it's not efficient because you don't solve anything. We're just throwing more band-aids on bullet wounds. And I get how frustrating that is, because my supplement cabinet was like thousands of dollars full of garbage. So this is a little picture of how our nervous system works, and a healthy nervous system should be able to come back to this green state right here. And the problem is most of us are struggling with nervous systems that get stuck in the red, orange, or blue zone. And that's what creates this hormone chaos, these struggles with food, having no control. And you can see even in this right-hand corner here, this is called the emergency state of our nervous system. And frankly, most of us are living with a nervous system that is in an emergency state. And that's where things become extremely problematic. So the solution isn't going to be another supplement or pill or talking this out in therapy. It's going to be actually understanding first and foremost how to turn the fire alarm off and get back to this green state of safety. So how do we do that? First step is we must regulate. We've already talked about this first. This is the most important first step. If we don't take care of this, nothing else can happen. So that's why I start with my clients with where no one else does, safety first. We turn off the fire alarm, teach you how to regulate your nervous system, because safety stops all this crap at the source. And a safe regulated nervous system, like we just talked about, it doesn't just change your eating or your body image, it impacts everything. Very clear results from regulation, choice and behavior change become totally possible, because now we're actually able to access the parts of your brain that control behavior. We stop cravings and self-sabotage at the source, and our benefits extend to every part of our life: hormone health, weight, metabolism, sleep, mental health, and confidence. So it is extremely important. And some examples, clients of mine have said, I've done every diet, every supplement, every program, and what finally worked was the nervous system healing and understanding how to bring it into safety. And my other client here, Noelia, says learning about the nervous system regulation and mind mastery was the missing piece. I tried everything from therapy, Prozac, functional medicine groups, other online programs, groups, Overeaters Anonymous, ED programs, and I'm binge free now after 35 years. So that's the magic of actually focusing on our nervous system. And some other just quick screenshots from our community are women sharing that they got their period back after 4 years. I just got my period back after a year of not having it. This was absolutely the missing piece for me. Feeling deep in my bones that nothing is more important than this work. Nobody teaches us this. That's why we start to feel crazy. But when you do, these are the magical things that happen to your body, because it just knows what to do when you're finally back into a state of peace. Make sense? Okay, problem number 2 is we think, I know what to do, but I can't stop the problem, right? So if binge eating and these struggles with our body and food were a logical problem, we would have fixed it by now. But none of this is driven by logic. And we sort of seeded this earlier when we talked about the nervous system being in a survival state. Logic is 5% of the equation. So I'm sure you've seen something like this before, the drawing of the iceberg. We think we're addressing the full problem by focusing on logic, but what's underneath is actually the large tip of the iceberg controlling this whole situation. It's our beliefs and all of the programming that is controlling our behavior. So we'll talk about what this means. 95% of what's in control of your behaviors is your subconscious, and your subconscious runs off of all these unseen beliefs that are quietly sabotaging you, okay? And these are not logical. They are also not your fault, which I need to say loud and proud. They come from diet culture, all these rules about food, societal pressures, and impossible beauty standards. They come from our family upbringing, past painful experiences such as trauma, early experiences that shape your core beliefs. Of course, we talked about societal beauty standards and systems that profit off of your unworthiness. So a lot of our conditioning is just a series of belief systems that aren't logically true and don't make sense, but they've been so hardwired into our subconscious that we continue to live out these nightmares that we're trying to stop and feel like we have very little control. And the good news is we have the power to change this, but we don't have power to change it if we don't first start with regulating our nervous system. So even right now in the chat, I want you to write out what are some common beliefs that you know are keeping you trapped in this cycle with food. What beliefs What stories are you telling yourself that you believe are keeping you trapped in this cycle with food? I think you know them loud and clear because our brain likes to rehearse them like a tape recorder every single day. And they often sound like, it's not possible for me. I can't, because they're very negative and absolute thinking patterns. So I want you to think of those and then drop some in the chat as we move forward, because that'll be important for our next steps. Okay, what do we have here? Yes, totally. I'll start again tomorrow. I'll start fresh next Monday. The urge feels hard to overcome. Yeah, absolutely. I need to be skinny, look perfect in order to be loved. Life isn't fun without food. Okay, beautiful. Really clear. Thank you for sharing. Okay, yeah. I'm fat and ugly, so we can have really negative thoughts about the way we look. I don't deserve to be seen. Just this one more time. Yeah, you got it. Really good. So what we must do, the you in our run method, is to unlearn old conditioning. We have to rewire the beliefs and scripts you inherited so you can stop fighting yourself and finally feel free in your relationship with food and your body. How do we do that? We have to identify these core beliefs keeping you stuck. And there's a myriad of ones that everybody shares. We safely challenge and release those old patterns, and we rewire new subconscious belief patterns driving your behaviors. Sounds really fancy, but once we have the right framework, not that difficult. And very, very, very empowering. And this is an example of Elizabeth. Elizabeth joined our program after having been in cognitive behavioral therapy since she was 16. She was imprisoned by binge eating restriction over exercising, struggled with these issues for 20 years, and started her first diet in 5th grade. I know a lot of us here remember starting our first diet or having unhealthy relationships to food very, very early on. And she's now binge free. It's gone. She eats whatever she wants when she wants. She doesn't stress about it at all. She has a very healthy relationship with food. And this, of course, has extended to all areas of her life. She just passed her medical boards. And we're very, very proud of her. And it's very, very exciting. So we are going to talk about one more problem, and then we're going to get into the action together. Yeah, thanks, Sabrina, for sharing. There's something wrong with me because I can't control myself. That's so common. So the third problem we experience here is you're great at doing and achieving, but you're not great at feeling. And I say that with love because I was there. So you were never taught how to feel your emotions. You learn to suppress them, to distract from them, and to just get shit done, right? You probably became exceptional at managing tasks and to-do lists and achieving more and more and more, but not slowing down. And therefore, we have all this emotional pain stuffed down inside our body, our tissues, our cells, and all that emotional pain seeks relief because it is very stressful energy. So food, therefore, becomes the answer. Anybody here feel like they can relate to not being very strong at feeling their feelings or even knowing how to do that? Because that's super, super common. It almost feels like scary to feel our feelings. And again, I remind you, that's likely because no one in your upbringing or your life ever taught you how to do that. It's a skill that we learn, but it is not common in every single household to have parents who are super emotionally intelligent and know how to teach their children how to do that. So the cost of this emotional automatic numbing is that stress arises in our body. It could be from life, from family relationships, friends, body image, food, whatever. We have this urge and impulse to numb and distract because it's too uncomfortable to sit and feel our feelings. And a lot of people feel like, it's actually unproductive to feel my feelings. I got shit to do. I'm just going to keep moving on. And then we try to distract, numb, and that eventually leads to binge eating, overeating, feeling completely out of control. And then we're back in the shame cycle all over again. So that is a super, super predictable loop. So how do we fix this? We have to nurture your emotions and teach you how to safely process them. Very important. So I teach you how to safely identify the feelings you've been suppressing and fundamentally let them out. You're armed with an entire toolbox so you can meet those stressful feelings with compassion and acceptance and actually free them from your body. And the extent to which you can do that is the extent to which you do not cope with food. Because if you're armed with proper tools to process your stress, then you're not turning to food to manage your stress because you've got a whole other toolbox available to you. And that's how you build confidence and self-trust because you're finally in control of using food, not using food as your only soother. Like as I said, it's been 9 years since I've ever used food in that way because I don't need it anymore. If I have a stressful day or life triggers me, I know exactly what to do, and I don't have to use anything else outside of myself, like food, to deal with all of that. Yeah, Tiffany, my feelings often turn into anger, then work, then binging, etc. Absolutely. Makes perfect sense. Okay, so we're going to put this into action. And I'll share Hannah's story quickly as well so you can see. So Hannah was stuck in this cycle for 12 years, binge eating at least once a week, restricting, then over exercising, living in constant fear of food and weight gain. She actually said recently on one of our live chats that every decision she made in her life, was about food and her body. That meant where she was going to live, where she was going to go out to dinner, who she was going to date, what school she went to. Everything revolved around controlling her relationship to food and her body. And she also went to the lengths of becoming a personal trainer, going to school for nutrition, doing all these things, thinking she could solve the problem. And fundamentally, she just couldn't. And she had tried outpatient programs, Overeaters Anonymous, sugar addiction programs, read every book, and nothing worked until she joined our program. And now she's free. She doesn't binge anymore. She doesn't even get urges. She has tools. She lives in a body that's strong and energetic. She doesn't do any more obsessive exercise or macros. And now she's able to also offer personal training to her clients in a whole new way that feels really healthy and sustainable and from this balanced place, which is super exciting. So let's name this, or actually I want to go forward and make some magic happen. So let's get into some exciting work together of putting the run method into action. So I want you to first think about, and we're going to type this into the chat, what is the most painful part of this cycle for you? So what is the most stressful part of this cycle and struggle for you with food? Think about that and then type it into the chat. What's the hardest part about this? Is it I can't fix it no matter what I do? Is it I feel out of control? Yeah, feeling out of control. Absolutely. Not being able to control myself, feeling stuck alone, shame, blame, and repeat. Constantly hate myself and always feel like a failure. The shame I feel that I can get this part of my life under control and taken care of. Feels like looping every time. Nothing else to soothe me the same way as food. Embarrassment for feeling weak. Yes, absolutely. That makes perfect sense. Okay, thank you for sharing that so honestly. 2, I want you to tune into your inner critic and the part of you that constantly criticizes you because you can't fix this. What is it saying about why you can't heal this? What is your inner critic saying to you about this whole relationship you have with food? I want you to think of those really harmful thoughts that this part of you has and type them in the chat. And if you feel comfortable doing that, I'd love to see them because we're going to work on this together. And then we'll move on to part 3. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So you're a bad and terrible person. You're being weak and pathetic. You're just inherently broken. I'll always replace one addiction with another. You're weak, broken, and unworthy. Yeah, super clear. Okay. And you may have already, yeah, it feels insurmountable. I totally understand. And how is this struggle with food fundamentally making you feel? Powerless? Lost, tired, awful. Yep. Want to cry constantly when I think about it. I feel stuck and out of control, depressed. It's exhausting. Helpless. Okay, thank you for sharing that so honestly. And if there's anything else coming up, please pop it in. Unable to feel joy because it's so overwhelming, burnt out, hopeless, depressed. Okay, final little piece before we move on to next steps. I'm going to show you. Oh, sorry, we got muted. I'm going to show you a little chart here, and I want you to notice, based on what you just answered, what you somebody keeps unmuting and it's getting reverb. One sec. So I'm going to post this up, and I want you to look at it and be able to identify what you just shared. Okay, so 1 second. Here it is. Okay, so let's look at this. A lot of you just shared, I'm going to find your words: helpless, burnt out, unable to feel joy, out of control, powerless, helpless, depressed, want to cry, tired, lost, powerless, feels insurmountable, unworthy. Okay, so let me highlight that for you. We have hopeless right down here. Can you see that? Let's not choose white because obviously we're not going to see that. So here's hopeless. A lot of people said, yeah, helpless, depressed. It's a lot of this energy down here in this blue zone. And this is exactly what I shared with you earlier, is the emergency state of your nervous system, SOS. Again, that's not your fault, but my goodness, no surprise we are feeling so stuck because this is what's happening. So we're going to fix this together right now, or we're going to fix what we can, a piece of the puzzle together. So I'm going to ask in the group, is anyone familiar with what EFT tapping is? Have you ever done this out with a practitioner or following any of my resources? Is anyone familiar with what that is? EFT tapping. Okay, yes, one person. Doesn't matter if you're not familiar with it, because we're going to be able to workshop this together. Oh, I'm so glad, Sabrina. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Now I want to ask second question. We're going to do something as a group, but I'm going to pull someone off mute to do this with me. So if you have done tapping before, you're in a space that is quiet, you can be really focused, you're not driving, there's not kids screaming in the background, and you want to do this with me out loud, you feel brave enough to do that, then please type yes in the chat right now, and then I will pull you off mute and do this with me out loud. So I'll give you a second to think about who's feeling brave and wants to have some personal support. I'm very gentle, obviously. I'm not scary. You know that. I'm going to close this so you can also see me so we can work on this together. Okay. Tiffany, was that you saying yes, or were you saying yes to earlier? I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm going to give you one more moment to decide between all of you who wants to be the lucky star today. Okay, you're okay with that? Okay, great. So let's get you to come off mute, Tiffany, and you've done tapping before. So all you're going to do, it's super simple. You're going to tap where I tap and repeat aloud with me, okay? And everyone that's here participating live or in the recording, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to tap and talk when Tiffany does. Okay, so Tiffany, you're still muted, so we're going to need you to come unmuted, and then we're going to get to work together.
There we go. Okay. Trying to get my phone set up so I don't have to hold it.
Yeah, no worries.
Maybe.
It's okay. And you know what? I don't even need to see you. As long as you can hear me and see me, we're good. So Tiffany, do you mind sharing a little bit about what's the hardest part for you about this struggle with food?
I think it's because I work at home. I do cake decorating, so I have cake around all the time. And then I don't go anywhere. I don't do a lot of stuff, so I don't have a lot of I don't know, different ways of reducing my stress.
Ways of reducing.
So I've really developed a problem over the last 7 or 8 years since I've been working from home doing this stuff that I'm struggling with. So I'm not as active as I used to be, and yeah, I just turn to food for enjoyment, I guess, and stress relief, and yeah, I'm getting frustrated with it.
Of course. And
So
what do you think,
yeah.
1 to 10, can you, and everybody else, I want you to do this in the chat. What's your current level of shame around this struggle? 10 out of 10 meaning most shame you could have, and 0, 1 meaning like, I don't feel ashamed of this at all.
Probably a 9 to 10. Uh,
9.
I often hide to do my eating and so on and so forth. So yeah, and then I just want to cry about it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Thanks for being so brave and sharing with us. And I see Dawn saying
yeah.
10, Sabrina saying 7, Kat 8. Okay, great. So let's start here all together. Everyone, you're going to tap where I tap, and you're going to repeat after me with Tiffany. And Tiffany, you're going to do the same thing with me. So
Okay.
we're going to tap on the side of the hand, and you're just going to gently start repeating the words that I say out loud. Okay. So even though I feel so much shame and frustration about this,
I feel so much shame and frustration about this,
I feel like I have no control in my relationship with food.
I feel like I have no control with my relationship with food.
I blame myself.
I blame myself.
Why haven't I figured this out yet?
Why haven't I figured this out yet?
Why do I have no control?
Why do I have no control?
Why is this the one area of my life I can't figure out?
Why is it the one area of my life I cannot figure out?
I'm learning how to have more love and forgiveness for myself.
I'm learning how to have more love and forgiveness for myself.
Even though this makes me want to cry constantly,
Even though this makes me want to cry constantly,
I feel so stuck and out of control.
I feel so stuck and out of control.
I'm proud of myself for showing up here today.
I'm proud of myself for showing up here today.
Even though I've been blaming myself for this for years,
Even though I've been blaming myself for this for years,
what if this actually isn't my fault?
what if this actually isn't my fault?
And I'm learning how to have a little more forgiveness and compassion for myself.
And I'm learning how to have a little more forgiveness and compassion for myself.
Great. So we're going to keep tapping. We're going to move through different points here, repeating out loud. I want to cry constantly.
I want to cry constantly.
This feels insurmountable.
This feels insurmountable.
Makes me feel like I'm inherently broken.
Makes me feel like I'm inherently broken.
Like I just don't have enough willpower.
Like I just don't have enough willpower.
I'm weak and pathetic.
I'm weak and pathetic.
I'm completely powerless over this.
I'm completely powerless over this.
And even though part of me believes all of those things,
And even though part of me believes all of those things,
today I've learned something new.
today I've learned something new.
That maybe this isn't my fault.
That maybe this isn't my fault.
That maybe my nervous system is so stressed.
That maybe my nervous system is so stressed.
That no wonder it uses food.
That no wonder it uses food.
Maybe it's starting to make a little sense.
Maybe it's starting to make a little sense.
That this isn't about willpower.
That this isn't about willpower.
And that I never learned tools to support myself.
And that I never learned tools to support myself.
With stress and everything going on in my life.
With stress and everything going on in my life.
So even though part of me is really struggling with this,
so even though part of me is really struggling with this,
maybe there's another part of me that sees some hope.
Maybe there's another part of me that sees some hope.
And maybe there's a part of me that feels proud of showing up here today.
Maybe there's a part of me that feels proud for showing up today.
And learning how to do this differently.
And learning how to do this differently.
Beautiful. I'm so proud of you, Tiffany. So let's take a nice, easy breath, everyone, including Tiffany. I want you to take a nice, easy breath into your body, whatever that means. And then, like, to you, I mean, don't force yourself to breathe. And then I want you to gently take your eyes, your head, your neck, look away from the computer. So I want you to take a gaze around the room that you're in. If you have a beautiful window, look out the window. I want you to just notice the room that you're in and let your eyes find something that brings you a semblance of joy or ease. Could be anything, a photo, a pencil, stuffed animal, and just take that in for a sec. And then I want you to notice how you're feeling, what thoughts are coming up, what feelings are coming up. Please share in the chat, and Tiffany aloud, if you will. What are you noticing, feeling?
Calmness and almost like a playful joy, like a kid. I'm looking at these cool lights on my ceiling. They're really pretty. So
Beautiful.
I've turned this room into my wellness room, and I'm working on trying to reduce this nervous system thing. So yeah,
I love that.
this is helpful.
Beautiful. So we're getting a sense of calmness, playfulness, joy.
Yeah.
I'm hearing hopeful and peaceful. Others are saying, yeah, calm and hopeful, lighter, calmness. Okay. And that was maybe 3 minutes. Great. Peaceful, grounded. So with this energy that is more peaceful and grounded, what thoughts are coming up for you around your relationship to food? What are you starting to realize? What's starting to feel more true for you or possible? Everyone and Tiffany, please type in the chat. What thoughts are coming up? This isn't my fault. Feeling more empowered. I have blamed myself for too long. Absolutely.
I can do this.
You say that again?
I can do this. I can get through this. There we go. Put it that way.
Beautiful. I'm not alone. Oh, I love that. Just because it has been the best, just because it has not been the best, it does not have to continue this way. I can begin again, feeling more safe. Amazing. Okay, great. I love that so much. So what we're going to do now, stay with me, Tiffany, and everyone, we're going to tap and repeat all of these beautiful, empowered beliefs together and feelings. So tapping on the side of the hand, repeating after me. Even though part of me has struggled with this for so long,
Even though part of me has struggled with this for so long,
I have not failed.
I have not failed.
I just haven't had the right support until now.
I just haven't had the right support until now.
And that's not my fault.
And that's not my fault.
Today, I'm realizing I'm not alone.
Today, I'm realizing I'm not alone.
And that everything is going to be okay.
And that everything is going to be okay.
I recognize that I have blamed myself for far too long.
I recognize that I have blamed myself for far too long.
And this isn't my fault.
And this isn't my fault.
And it's becoming more clear.
And it is becoming more clear.
The ingredients I need to break free.
The ingredients I need to break free.
Beautiful. Let's tap through the points. I'm feeling more peaceful and grounded.
I'm feeling more peaceful and grounded.
More calm.
More calm.
Lighter.
Lighter.
Feeling more empowered.
Feeling more empowered.
Realizing this isn't my fault.
Realizing this isn't my fault.
Nobody's taught me what it takes to break free.
Nobody's taught me what it takes to break free.
I'm going to be okay.
I'm going to be okay.
I'm not alone.
I'm not alone.
Feeling more empowered.
Feeling more empowered.
I can get the support I need to overcome this.
I can get the support I need to overcome this.
This is not my fault.
This is not my fault.
I'm feeling more safe.
I'm feeling more safe.
More peaceful.
More peaceful.
More empowered.
More empowered.
More grounded.
more grounded.
I can do this.
I can do this. I can do this. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, let's take another nice, easy breath through the whole body. And maybe if you feel like it, you can stretch your arms overhead and imagine, okay, I'm bringing all of that beautiful energy into my heart. And just notice how you're feeling. I want you each to really tune in and notice, what are you thinking now? What are you feeling now? And please do share that in the chat. And Tiffany, aloud if you feel open to that too.
I'm feeling hopeful and excited that I can get through this. I can break through this and make this go away. Make this problem go away.
Love that. Feeling optimistic. I'm hearing others feeling optimistic. We all deserve peace. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yawning. I'm so glad. Lots of yawning. Okay, beautiful. That's a signal that your nervous system is starting to feel safe and that it's releasing all of the tension that it's been holding on to and the stress. Thank you, Tiffany. Round of applause for you. Super proud of you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Yawn and tears like crazy, feeling peaceful, feeling proud and connected with everyone here. I love that. Okay, amazing work. Thank you so much. We're not done yet, so hold those really good feelings. And then we're going to go through our next little steps here. So that's the power of what happens when you have a taste of the right support, the right tools, and you're not stuck in a place of self-blame, and it's not your fault. I say this all the time. It's just you weren't fundamentally taught the ingredients to break free. And that's what keeps us stuck in the shame cycle and that constant trap that we were talking about over and over and over again. So as a reminder, the old way of doing things is getting stuck in this cycle where nothing has worked for you. You logically know what to do, but you can't stop this. You're so sick and tired of this and hating your body. You're trapped in a daily mental prison of food noise and body noise. You go through diet after diet with zero long-term results. You pass this cycle on to your kids, and you live a life of exhaustion, frustration, and shame. So that is the old way. And how many of you here are willing to do things the new way? Put that in the chat. New way. We are ready for it. I'm waiting because I want to hear who fundamentally is making the choice to do things the new way. Great. I love that. I'm hearing it. New way, new way, new way. New way, let's go. Exactly. Beautiful. Okay, that's awesome. So this is how we do things the new way, okay? We have total food freedom. We never binge again. We get our dream body without dieting. We feel confident and unstoppable in your own skin. You go after your dreams and you live your life to the fullest. So everything I taught you here today is a small puzzle out of the entire puzzle that it takes to fundamentally break free of this. And this is what I want for you. This is what I want you to achieve. So if you're ready to run towards freedom and you are ready for that, I want to hear another yes in the chat. I want the new way because I've even passed it on to my 20-year-old daughter. Absolutely. Absolutely. Beautifully said. We're ready. Okay, great. We are ready to run towards freedom. I say it loud and say it proud. So my invitation to you is that if you are fundamentally ready for that and you refuse to let this continue on, then you can book a complimentary call to apply to join my program. Okay, this is where we have this proven method, exactly as I outlined to you today, expert support, a community behind you, so you will never fail at this. And you have every ingredient you'll ever need to fundamentally be successful with this. I have shared many, many stories with you. There's hundreds more. I'm not going to sit here for 3 hours and read you all the stories, but I've shown you clearly what it takes to break free. You have tried to do this on your own. You have tried the diet approach. I don't want to see you get stuck in this anymore. So if that is something that you are ready for, there's no complications here, no strings attached. What this looks like is you just book a call with us to talk through whether or not this is in fact the right program for you. We will do a complete full assessment. We'll talk you through where you're struggling. We'll talk you through what is fundamentally keeping you stuck. We will give you a personalized blueprint to break free. And if it feels like the right fit for you and you're ready for that next level of support, then we'll talk through what it looks like to get that support and join this program. If it doesn't feel like the right fit, there are no hard feelings, and we will also let you know if we do not feel like you are the right fit. And that phone call is complimentary. It's free. There is nothing complicated about it other than you being the person who says, I'm finally ready to not do this alone anymore. And I want to have a conversation with someone about what it looks like to break free. So that's how you can become any one of these stories. They are not unique people in the world. They are people that just simply got the right support and created a lifetime of freedom for them. So if that's of interest to you, it's very simple. I'm just going to put the link in the chat, and I'll do that right now so that you have it. And my recommendation is that I'm not sure if you can see the screen still, it doesn't matter. I'm going to paste the link right in the chat. Here we go. My recommendation is that you head over there and you grab your spot as soon as possible, because they do fill up very fast and spots are limited. And I want to talk to you as soon as possible. And my invitation to you is to consider fundamentally booking a completely complimentary call that has the potential to completely change your life, whether you decide to move forward or not. Because I know that you're sitting here having these same conversations with yourself. I'm still stuck. I'm still ashamed. And even with the momentum you have here today, without the right plan and support, you are fundamentally going to go back to the same spot that you have been in, because that is what happens. That's just our biology. So let's make a commitment to ourselves to do something different, to make 2026 the year that you finally break free of this, and at least have a conversation with someone with what that actually looks like. This is your moment. You are the kind of woman who can take this step and who can fundamentally break free of this with the right support, okay? So that link is in the chat, and if you lose it, it's very simply my name. You can go to my website and see the link there, as well as a laundry list of stories from all of our clients. I also have a full YouTube channel with lots more stories live from clients who've gone through the program and experienced those results. And that's what I want to leave you with. And over here, I want to open it up to questions, because I'm here to support you and I want to know what questions are coming up for you before we end our very valuable time together today. So if you have a question, you can type it in the chat. If you want to unmute yourself, go for it, whatever works for you, but I'm here to support you before we head off for the day. So here we are. Talk to me. What questions do you have? Comments? I'm here. And while I'm waiting for your questions, I also want to say, do not let yourself think that you have some unique story where you're broken and nothing will ever work for you. That's part of the cycle that keeps you trapped. I've never met someone in my 9 years of doing this work who has a unique story where they can't be solved, like, or fixed or helped. That's just more of that same shame talk that wants to keep you stuck. How many hours a week will be put towards the healing? How long is the program? So great questions, and I'll answer them sort of together. My philosophy and how I work with my clients is I don't put you in a time-bound container where you have 6 weeks or 12 weeks to complete our work together, because that doesn't work. That's part of what puts you right back into the same cycle of repeating self-sabotage. What I do instead is I commit to working with my clients for however long it takes. You get access to the program, everything included, all my support. Don't care if it takes you 3 months, 6 months, a year. I have clients who are still loving the program so much and are in it a year later and have long surpassed their results, but they stay in the program to maintain and to keep ascending to even higher levels. So that unlimited amount of support is what fundamentally supports people to actually break free of this, instead of giving you something for 6 weeks and then expecting that when life gets stressful, you somehow know how to support yourself through that. Like, that's where a lot of programs and practitioners fail their clients. So the length of time is highly dependent on your level of engagement in the program and how much time you want to dedicate it to it each week. I would say at a minimum, it looks like about a 3-hour a week commitment, and you get to kind of splice that up however you like. So that's sort of like ballpark amount of time. Yeah, and we can go through all the details on the finances and everything on our call, because we have payment plans and all kinds of different things. Once we've determined if the program, in fact, is something that we believe is the right fit for you fundamentally. and that we can 100% help you towards all the goals that you have. Great questions, everyone. Anything else coming up? I love answering your questions, so please don't hesitate. And if you're still here, that means that I know, I know you're still here because you really care about yourself, your life, and you are motivated to make a change. So if you haven't already considered booking that call, I'm going to lovingly say, what are you still doing? Just book the free call. We're going to support you no matter what. Even if you decide that this program or getting help with me specifically isn't the right fit, you're going to have an extremely meaningful, productive conversation and leave with an action plan. So there's literally no reason not to do that for yourself. Questions, questions, questions. Questions, questions, questions. Anything else that you want to talk through? Any other stories? We are here for it. Oh, you're so sweet, Sabrina. I'm so grateful for you saying that. And I am, thank you. I received that. I'm very grateful that you said that. And it comes from a very, very, very authentic place because I myself struggled with this from the time I was like 8 years old until 29 years old. And my life was extremely difficult because of all of this. And I wanted to give up so many times. And I had tried so many things and I had invested so much money and so much energy and felt so broken and so stupid and so, yeah, just so hopeless. And so when I finally figured out what the actual ingredients are to create lasting change and was able to make that happen for myself, I was like, well, obviously, if it's possible for me, who thought I was a broken case, I can help others to do the same. And that's why I started my business 9 years ago and had the courage to leave my corporate job where I was very well paid, but hated my life. And that's why I've been doing this work for the last 9 years. And I'm so happy and so joy filled and so grateful to help all the women that I do. And it is my greatest joy and my passion in the world. So I'm very grateful that you are grateful for the resources and the support because that means a lot. And yeah, I just want to say thank you to each one of you for showing up here today. I'm so, so proud of you. I know the kind of women that you are because you're here and you devoted an hour to your day to wanting to improve your life and overcome these struggles. And that is immense. And that means so much about who you are and what you're going to achieve in your life. So you deserve freedom. I want you to know you're not alone. Okay. We are here for you. Reach out, book that call, whatever you need, we are here. I just want to support you to live the life you deserve. Let's not waste another birthday, another milestone going, okay, yet again, here went another year of my life where I'm fundamentally imprisoned by this. It's just not worth it. Okay. We don't know how many years we get, and we want to make them the best that we could ever have. That's what you deserve. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you don't have any other questions, I will say my goodbyes. But before we do, I want you to just think of one word to summarize how you're feeling at the end of this beautiful hour that we shared together. What would be a word that to represent how you're feeling now at the end of our time together? Share it in the chat. I would love to hear. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I'm so glad you're feeling hopeful, positive, beautiful, empowered. All my favorite words coming through. I feel very grateful to have spent this time with each of you and those of you that are tuning in live for the recording. I'm so glad you're feeling grateful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Big hugs to all of you. I'm here for you. You're not alone. Never forget that. And I'll see you again and talk to you very soon. Thanks, Kat. Supported and grateful. Yay, Nina. Hopeful. Thanks so much. Bye, everyone. Have a great rest of your day or evening. Appreciative. Me too. Thanks, Melissa. Bye. Bye, bye, bye. Hugs to you all. Hugs to you all. Hugs to you all.